This is a tough guy movie, Josh.
Is it?
I think.
Okay.
What's the hardest punch you've ever taken?
The hardest punch is probably an emotional punch.
Oh, I don't mean to laugh at that.
No. The hardest punch I've ever taken. Oh, I know exactly when it was. Now I remember. We used to run from my high school when I was in Santa Barbara. We used to run down to, remember when video arcades started?
Sure.
So we'd have our quarters, and we wouldn't eat lunch because we'd use the quarters to play video. And we had Robotron. And, this won't be a long story, but
I don't care.
Robotron.
Give me the detail.
Space Invaders and Galaga and Asteroids and all that. So I was very addicted to Robotron. So I ran down there. I put my quarters on Robotron, but there was a guy who I went to school with named Kim, and he was a big guy. He was like you. He was like, he had some muscle, and he was tall, and I guess I was standing too close to him because I couldn't wait to play. So I was kind of leaning into his game, and he told me to back off. And I said, all I'm doing, and that's all I remember saying, and he knocked me out with one punch. He hit me, and I was on the ground. And then I was like grabbing at his ankles, the kind of desperate move where you don't really know what's going on and you've been knocked out, kind of like an MMA fight. And we became great friends after that.
Kim.
Yeah, Kim.
Knocked out by a guy named
I don't remember his last name, but Kim was his first name.
Well,
maybe that's why he hit me, because his name was Kim. It's like a man named Sue.
It was a bold confession right there.
You know?
I don't know if you remember the beginning of every Mission Impossible episode. Peter Graves, he would get that manila envelope and he would look for the agents of that mission. I love the way you and Mireille Enos comprised the Gangster Squad. Can you talk about the selection process of everybody who was in the film?
Well, all that was true, because I talked to John O'Mara's daughter, and she said, no, my mom was very involved in the choosing of these guys. And, he obviously, because he was trying to impress the commissioner or whoever it was, he wanted to get the best guys, the smartest guys. And she was like, no, you got to get guys that are willing to actually, get dirty and get dirt under their fingernails and all that. And guys who understand what it is to kind of crawl under the labyrinth as opposed to go through the labyrinth. So I know that was all truthful, and the relationship that they had together was a very honorable relationship, which I loved. And Mireille played it so beautifully. I was talking earlier, the scene that she did when she comes up with the magazine with Robert Patrick on it, and I'm painting, and I said, you can't do that. She says, yes, you can, and she tells me why I should do that and why I have to do that, and then she hits me in the chest, and then she leaves. I just love that. That wasn't written. That was her, And I love that. I love that kind of, cute reminder. It's a reminder that she's in control.
Can you talk about Ruben Fleischer's fingerprint on Gangster Squad?
Yeah, I think it makes it more accessible. I think Ruben's kind of, and I don't really know because he's only done a couple of films, but if you look at Zombieland, it's a very accessible movie, and this could have been a movie that was much more character-driven, like Untouchables or like, L.A. Confidential, and I think his tastes bring him more toward the accessibility and widening the gap of demographic and an enjoyable film as opposed to a film you leave going like this, And I think he's much more childlike in that way.
What is your process? What's your take on how you approach each role?
It really depends on the role. It really depends. To me, I pick a role based on. Usually, I end up doing roles that I say no to right away. So that's always curious to me. I'm starting to see the pattern in that. And saying no to W and saying no to Men in Black 3 and stuff like that. I think because the characters scare me, I don't know if I can pull it off. I don't know if I'm the right guy for it. I don't know if they're just miscasting me because I'm having a moment or whatever, So, the process changes. Sometimes you do a lot of research. Sometimes you don't do as much. Sometimes you're kind of off the cuff. I just did a movie called Old Boy, which was a very satisfying experience, and I hope turns out to be a satisfying movie to watch. But that was an incredible experience that looked like it was all going to turn out to shit before we started. It just, nothing was matching up and nothing was working. And we got on the set, and then I don't know how, everything came together. And a lot of research and a lot of hard work kind of paid off.
Well, your gut is treating you right. Gangster Squad, a lot of fun. Thank you so much, Josh.
Thanks, man.
All right.